Okay, Melissa, will you call us to order?
Yes, sir. Mayor Mark Sukup.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rick Collins.
Here.
Councilmember Aaron Pearson.
Here.
Councilmember Lisa Lake. Here. Councilmember Brett Hansen.
Here. Any amendments to the agenda, Aaron? Any public comments in general? Melissa? All right. Consent agenda. Any questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those say nay. Consent agenda passes. Mayor and council reports. Does anybody have a report?
I do.
Okay.
Rick and I met with Police Design Committee. I guess was that just last week or maybe the week before? I don't know how time flies, but last week. And we were talking through the budget on that. And we asked the staff to reach out to the other council people so you guys could get an update on that for yourself. But we're almost about 1.4 million over what we had budgeted in there. And we've already scaled back the project a couple times to try to keep it in line with what we had in the budget. So, and any changes at this point in scope would lengthen that time frame, and there obviously would be costs associated with redrawing up these plans. So I would like to ask the staff to do a couple things, Aaron, if I could. And one of those is to, for our next budget work session that we have coming up in October, if you could have the staff prepare some items on certificates of participation so that we can discuss that at the budget work session. I would appreciate that. Also, if we could have the municipal advisor come up with pros and cons of those certificates of participation so that we can have that as part of our discussion during that budget work session. I think that'd be helpful for all of us to know what's going on there. And if that would be a viable option for us, not for the whole thing, but for a portion of it. And it might be a good idea for us to free up some of that money in case we have priorities that come about on the survey, that we would want to use that money for one of these other priorities that the town is requesting. So if you could do that, I'd appreciate it.
Let me piggyback on just a third point. We'd also discussed the possibility of having Lisa work with the numbers in light of the increases in revenue to the city over the last 18 months to 2 years, if we could still pay as you go for the full project. And maybe dip just a little into the reserve. We're at 25 to 50%, but we might be able to pay as you go too.
Okay. All right. Finance report. Lisa, do you have anything particular? Okay. Report looked great. Engineering report, not Dawn, but do you guys have anything, or is it what's there's there? Good. Community development report, anything? I'll tell you what, I'm going to make a quick comment on that. We don't comment on it much, and we all see it, but all of the community violations and stuff that you guys are doing and how it gets cleaned up and everything, I'm very impressed with. So thanks for the hard work on that.
Thank you.
Police staff report. Chief, do you have anything? Okay. And well, I know what. Was this the first time that, I ought to look through here again quicker. Is this first time we did the Bertha and, or excuse me, Severance and Windsor report comparison? Yes. Okay, great. And I don't know if everyone saw it, but I thought it was very helpful and very insightful, and thanks for your hard work on that. Anybody have any comment on that? Okay. Okay, brings us to 6A, resolution number 44, series 2021, a resolution authorizing the construction of the 2021 general tail improvements Wild Wing sidewalk.
That would be me, I believe. It's supposed to be trail improvements. I apologize if I misspelled that on the heading.
I
of the
thought it
agenda.
was, but I thought, well, I guess it got this far. It must be tail.
We are not making any tail
All
improvements.
right, good.
This is the first of 2 trail improvement projects on the agenda today. I did ask Melissa to split them, so I wasn't back to back. So you'll have a little bit of reprieve from me, but then you'll see me again a little bit later. I'm just going to share my screen and actually, you know, all the exhibits are in the packet for this one. I'll show you some exhibits on the T-Rock Trail. I think that's a little bit more impactful. We had 7 bids. We publicly bid the project. I think they were very competitive bids. The low bid, Jags Enterprises, we've had a couple of discussions with them about just how they were able to be unit cost price so much lower than everybody else. They're staged actually very close to this project, so they had a very low mobilization cost. And then some of their other operational costs were lower on this project as well. You would see that they bid on the other project and they were kind of at the opposite side of the spectrum. So a lot of this stuff is actually very project specific when it comes to these costs. But we were happy to receive 7 bids on the project. They have done a fair amount of trail work for the town of Windsor. So we talked to the town of Windsor about that and they were very satisfied with the work that they did. So if there's any questions about the project, I'm happy to answer them, but we're recommending award of the project to Jags Enterprises.
Thanks for doing all the bids and getting those through. It was nice to see 7 bids go on. Also, I thought it was really fascinating that the lowest bid on the first trail was one of the highest on the next, and the highest on the first trail was the one that won actually the bid. I thought that was unique.
We did open the bids about a week apart. And this one was the first opening. So I think some people, they only had the bid results, like the totals in there. So, but I think they were able to maybe tweak some of their numbers for the second opening. And I think that's why you see that the differentiation in order.
Great. Brett.
You mentioned in your report that a resident had brought this gap to our attention. Is there a specific concern or goal that they had in mind with bringing this to our attention?
He is a disabled individual.
Mm-hmm.
So he's looking to kind of create some of these loops in his community so that he can get from his place out to some of these areas. Right now there's, it's a dead end. He could go around to the south side, but then there was no way for him to kind of get back. So that was his focus. We talked about a couple other places in town when my conversations with him as well. And so some of those we've already addressed and some of those we have on some upcoming trail projects.
Okay. And then I'll just comment, I was glad to see that there was some forethought put into the Wild Wing Park and how this would not clash with any future plans there. So
yeah, there are some landscape improvements on the south side of the street. So we're just trying to hug right to the edge of those landscape improvements and give us the most flexibility in the future.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
I just want to acknowledge we talked about this somewhat at the Park and Rec Committee, both this and the other one, and all of us thought it was a good idea to move forward with these with the money that was allotted.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 44, authorizing construction of the 2021 general trail improvements Wild Wing Park?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Resolution number 22, series 2021, a resolution initiating annexation proceedings for the property known as the Connell annexation and giving notice of a public hearing on October 26, 2021. And Kevin, my understanding is this is just so that any public comment, and it's really not approving anything as such, it's just moving forward the annexation process.
Correct. This is the initial annexation step for state statutes requirements. This is substantial compliance that we have a annexation petition that's been submitted by at least 50% of the property owners and that they meet the 1/6 contiguous requirement for annexation. Just a real quick brief thing, excuse me. What is actually before you in the packet has been modified in the last day, which is why you have an updated petition in front of you. The only reason why that has been modified was there was a request by the county to include some more of County Road 5 as part of this annexation. Out with the Whiteslow extension to the south. So that has changed in the last day or so. Which has been changed and is in front of you with your packet. No substantial changes with the rest. It actually creates a secondary annexation just because the 1/6 contiguous boundary can't be met for the entirety just off of one annexation. So that created in sense, a secondary annexation to get the remaining road. But this still does meet requirements. It has the 50% owner signing of a petition and meeting all requirements of the town. So yeah, this just sets up the timeline.
How much of County Road 5 is in the annexation then?
It's roughly in total length about 600, 700 feet.
Kevin, is it this little middle section?
Yep, it's just the
Okay.
middle section. The reason for that is with this annexation and subsequent development, a Lucas standards, Larimer County Urban Area Street Standards requires any new connection to an arterial road, which is what County Road 5 is classified as, requires a left-hand turn lane to now access into Whitesville. So we actually had them increase their annexation of County Road 5 to include the area that would be improved for that left-hand turn lane going north.
Okay.
That's the reason for the expansion of it, is just for that left-hand turn lane. So that whole entire road is within Timnath's jurisdiction, and there's no need to have any type of access or construction permits through the county.
Hey, Kevin, will there be an acceleration and deceleration lane on the west side of County Road 5?
That is still being reviewed through a traffic study.
Okay.
The traffic study will have, I believe currently right now, it's called out for a right-hand turn lane near 2035 at that time. So nothing immediately required for it, but that's still being reviewed by engineering through this process.
Who's the engineering?
Galloway is the engineer for the project.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 45, series 2021?
I recommend the approval of the resolution initiating the Connell annexation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Resolution number 46, series 2021, a resolution authorizing T-Rock Trail construction project. Brian.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. This is the T-Rock Trail project. We've been talking about this for the last couple of years, and I'm happy to say that we're ready to build the first phase. This trail is planned to reach all the way to the reservoir. This first phase ties into an existing trail that is behind Timnath Ranch right now that runs along the T-Rock and extends it all the way up to Harmony. We do have a bridge that crosses the T-Rock and takes you right down into the existing underpass. On your next meeting, there'll be another filing of Timnath Landings that is the development work that happens adjacent to this on the north side of Harmony. Part of those plans tie into the other side of the underpass and then all the way across to the railroad tracks where they have the existing trail now. So between this project and that project, which would be under construction next year, will be able to link Timnath South all the way to Old Town. So this is a piece of the bigger puzzle. Parts of this trail, especially the pieces that run kind of on the side of T-Rock, are actually in our Parks, Recreation, Open Space and Trails plan, and thus they are the responsibility of the adjacent development to construct. What we're doing, and we talked about this a little bit before, is that we're kind of front loading this trail where we're going to build the trail, and then when they're required to build it at the time of adjacent development, they'll reimburse the town for those costs. The benefit to the town is we get that trail connection right now, as opposed to waiting for the rest of that residential and then the commercial development to build out. So there is a benefit to the town to kind of front load this. Matt and I spent a little bit of time earlier today looking at the construction costs, and I did talk to the developer as well. We are expecting that we can recoup probably between 40 and 60% of the overall project costs as they develop adjacent to the trail here. So there's a fair number of pieces, like, the bridge that kind of shortcuts going up to Harmony, around and down. That's not really a requirement of the development. That's something that the town is advocating for. And so that would be a cost for the town. About 87% of the trail that's being constructed, though, is their responsibility. So we did a pretty detailed breakdown of that stuff, and we'll have a reimbursement agreement with the developer that we'll be bringing back to the council as well.
Lisa, I know this isn't a financial item as a receivable as such, but do we have a list of all of the reimbursements that are due the town?
I'll take that, because
Great.
Having that list is my responsibility.
Oh, okay, good.
So yes, we do.
Could we see that next meeting?
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
just a list of what's, like right here, that
Yeah.
Timnath Landing owes X, and I understand that you won't know exact dollars on some of it, but giving us a ballpark and that kind of thing, because I've never seen it. I don't know. I don't have a clue how much, and I know it's not a receivable, Lisa, but how much receivables we have out there that eventually the town will get. Some of Bus Grove, I assume, is, well, a lot of Bus Grove once that corner gets developed.
Yeah, I think.
Now, granted, some of them might be 10 years out. I get that too,
Yes.
but I'd like to see it.
Some of the other things on that report are like our sewer projects that are being reimbursed either at the time of building permit or at the time of development. There's a development for this subdivision, the River Bend. That's the PIA that we entered into, the town entered into. So yeah, there's a wide variety of those things. So yeah, we're happy to share that.
That'd be awesome if you could do that.
As long as
Does that give you enough time?
Yes.
2 weeks? Okay.
I owe it to Lisa already, so. Yes.
Oh, good job, Lisa. I can count on you.
She appreciates the extra pressure on me.
I won't tell him we talked, Lisa. All right. Any further discussion on T-Rock? Okay. Oh, Brett?
I was just curious, you mentioned escalating costs. Can you just give me an idea of what kinds of items we're seeing the biggest increase in costs on for this?
We saw, it kind of in that comparison that I included in the packet, but definitely the bridge went up more than we were expecting. I think we had that around 85, and it was double that, or a little more than double that actually. I think a lot of this is just the general mobilization costs coming into it. The concrete cost is a little bit more expensive. I think we're seeing these kind of generally across the board creeping up.
So it's a pretty general increase, not concrete has gone up 50% or something like that.
In this particular project, there's not one thing I think that we can point to that says this is where the bulk of that increase is.
Okay. And then I'll just again echo some of the earlier comments that I'm really happy to see the number of bids we're getting, and just encourage you to keep structuring our bid process and awarding process in a way that encourages a healthy number of bids. So
yeah,
thank you.
I think it's a good time to be bidding. I would say that I wasn't overly impressed with the numbers we got back. I was impressed by the number of bids we got back, but you could see that, we ran the range from 850,000 to 1.3 million. I mean, that's a huge discrepancy in that. So
it makes it a little easier to justify going a little over our initially budgeted costs when you can see how much it actually costs across the board on a bid list like that. So thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Anybody So do I have a motion to approve resolution number 46, series 2021, authorizing T-Rock Trail Construction Project?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I got a quick question for you guys before we close. When will, and this is just a question, when will Busk Grove be open all the way to County Road 13?
The last time I checked with Eric, he thought it would be about a month after they opened the Biden's Gate intersection. So they do have,
So August 31st?
no, after they opened the Biden's Gate intersection, which I think just opened last week.
Okay, okay, so middle of September.
Yeah, mid-September, I think.
Okay.
They have a fair amount of work. It looks like it's done, that it's paved, but they have a fair amount of shouldering work to do, and a bunch of sidewalk work that needs to be done. All of that can be constructed much quicker and at less cost if we keep the road closed, as opposed to doing it with traffic control under traffic. So,
Has a bridge gone in yet there by, you know where I mean?
yeah, I think they were setting the bridge this week.
Okay,
I'm not sure. I can text Eric and find out, and I'll let you know in a minute.
okay, great. And one other question, Kim, when do we anticipate receiving the resident survey results back? Great. Okay. I just had some curiosity questions. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.